really happy and excited that I can be here. So let me introduce myself. My name is Paulina. I'm from Poland, south of Poland, a small city, touristic, surrounded by mountains. I am 46. I am an assistant professor at university from management. I'm a mom of son and daughter. My son is adult, 22. And due to this pandemic in Poland as well, I was forced to using Zoom and other platforms. So that's why I had thought to join to this club, not in my city, just I'm open-minded. So, but also I would like to improve my skills of English. I'm not perfect. And what else? I don't know. Maybe enough briefly. So I am really happy, and I would like to be here and to enjoy this meeting. Something new for me. I have no idea how it looks. Completely no idea. First time I'm dilettante.
Thank you, Paulina. Thank you, Paulina. It's a very nice introduction. Can I ask Rajiv to introduce yourself? Please unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rajiv Mahadu from Bobasa. Basically, I'm a mechanical engineer and I work in the hospitality sector, especially mostly in the hotel sector. While the reason for my interest in joining the Toastmasters Club is basically to improve my speaking skills by learning to communicate more effectively to an audience, and which I feel ultimately will help me to gain more self-confidence. Self-confidence, I feel, is very important for a good speech. So that's it. So I was discussing with Venkoj. So I told him about joining the club. And I'm very pleased to be welcome today. And I wish we can have a nice time together, learning new things. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv. Now let's move on to, we have our favorite returning guest, David. Hi, David.
Yes, nice to be here again. You've got such an interesting agenda today. And I thought, I can't give it a miss.
Yeah,
all the topics seem to be very, very interesting. So it's good to be back. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, David. Shakti Ramtuhal. Hi, Shakti. Welcome to the club.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me again. For those who don't know me, I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Shakti Ramtuhal, and I'm an accounting and finance lecturer. I work for Middlesex University, Mauritius. So it's good to be back here again.
All right.
Thanks.
So welcome, Shakti. And thanks for coming back again to Plateau Toastmasters Club. And last but not least, we have Raj, who's also an evaluator for tonight. So Raj, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been with Plateau once before, but I think it was in a joint venture with another team abroad. It's always nice to be back with our fellow Mauritians. I've been in Mauritius for a little while now, originally from London. In Mauritius, I'm a consultant, also a corporate coach, and I have a passion for public speaking. I've been doing it for quite some time, and it's a bit different doing it for free this time around, but loving it nevertheless and learning new things. And I hope I'd be able to take care of our friend Sharif's evaluation sometime this evening. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So welcome to all our guests. Tonight is a themeless session, like our Toastmaster of the evening is being introduced to us in a few minutes. Subhiraj, who works at the State Bank of Mauritius, and he's now going to take over the session as from now on. Please go ahead, Subhiraj.
Hi. Glory to thee, Mother, dear fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Good everything, morning, evening, whatever, wherever you are in the world. Hold on, please. I am not a fool if I'm singing glory motherland now. It is because yesterday was a new Independence Day for me. Not for me, for the whole Mauritius. As you know, with the end of the confinement, so many people are very happy. They are moving around in Mauritius. They are enjoying as if they have got a new freedom. Now they understand what is freedom. Freedom when freedom has been restored. Now I think people will know what is independence. And for me, yesterday was a new independence. For me, maybe next year, this day, the 15th of June, should be a holiday. Of course, we talk of new normals. For me, this is a new normals. Having said so, let us go back to our old normals now. Dear friends, before proceeding, let me tell you, let me remind you there's a few changes in our agenda. The speaker one has moved to speaker number 4, and the others have moved by one step up. Evaluator number 3, who was Mira Chaturi, has been replaced by Sumaya. I hope she has joined already. And as the president said, tonight's meeting, I have put the theme as seamless. But the meeting is not seamless. There is no theme, but the meeting is not seamless. My objective is to make us realize the importance of themes and what happens when there is no themes. We often take things for granted, and we choose one by searching on Google for International Day falling on or around our meeting date. We usually use a theme to discuss certain subject or raise awareness about the subject. Sometimes we enjoy on the theme, like for Christmas or New Year or Diwali. But sometimes we make our meetings cheery, to feel cheery. Too often we ponder about the theme only during the meeting, then we forget it. We behave like lovers who celebrate love mostly on Valentine's Day. We have people celebrating Environment Day only on Environment Day. We have politicians talking about Women's Day only on Women's Day. And we Toastmasters, we talk about word of the evening only during the evening on the meeting. That's why I wanted this theme to be raised. I wanted to have people to have a critical thinking. We don't just take it for granted. We raise a theme, we discuss it, and then we finally forget it. Take for granted. Why I revert to this point? You will know that I take one example. There was one Italian patient recently who recovered from the COVID-19 sickness. I think you will know. He cried. He cried because when he was sick, he had to pay for the ventilators. Then he realized how long he has been taking air for granted. So we breathe, but we don't take care about air. What is air? So this is why I wanted to raise this point. You think without take for granted. We don't realize whether we have to talk about it of the word or just talk it for one day and then we forget it. We just enjoy and then we forget it. That's what my point why I raise this. Now let's finish with the themes. Let's go to our meeting, to the role players. For tonight, as usual, we will have different role players. We have grammarian, we have account, everything. I will ask each of them to present themselves and their roles. First of all, I will start with the grammarian, who is none other than our member, Dushita Ramlawat, I will request her to come forward on the screen to present her word of the week and word of the evening and about the role also. So please, over to you, Dushita, our grammarian. Dushita is there?
You need to unmute yourself, Dushila.
Dushita.
Okay.
No.
Mr. TME, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, a warm welcome to all of you. I'm the grammarian tonight, and as the grammarian tonight, I'll listen carefully to all speakers and role players and take note of any interesting, effective, unusual words, phrases, or expressions that will be used. As the grammarian tonight, I'll also take note of any incorrect use of grammar, mispronunciations, or any other misusage of the language. Last but not least, as a grammarian, I present to you, I share with you the word of the evening. So the word of the evening is, cheery, which is an adjective, as you can see from the screen, and which is derived from the word cheer, which means to praise, encourage, motivate, and inspire. Some synonyms of the word are cheerful, happy, bright, buoyant, joyful, lively, optimistic. I'll give you some examples of the word cheery in two sentences. First, TME Subhiraj gave all speakers tonight a cheery welcome. Second example, after the prodigious speaker concluded his amazing presentation on Zoom, all attendees gave him a cheery wave. So as you can see, fellow Toastmasters, this word is very easy to use, very easy to pronounce. So I'll encourage all Toastmasters, all members, all guests to make maximum use of the word cheery and adopt a very enthusiastic, happy, and optimistic attitude for the meeting. Over to you, TME Subhiraj.
Thank you, Toastmaster Doshida. Now, let's talk about the next role player, which is an accountant. And tonight, our accountant is Toastmaster Aditya Raj Bandhu. Over to you, Raj. Explain to your role and explain how you will manage the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the accounter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and, you know. I will also listen for filler words, filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker uses these expressions. Thank you. Over to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. Now, the next role player is our timer, the one who will control how much time we're taking, and then we'll see how well we do time management. I will call upon our Toastmaster, Jesta, to talk about her role. Jesta, over to you.
Hello, Toastmasters and esteemed guests. We all know that time plays a significant role in our life, be it as a student, in our professional life, and even at home. Let me borrow a quote from William Shakespeare, who said, "Better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late." My role as the timer is to time prepared speeches, table topics, and speech evaluations. For this, I will be changing my background from green, yellow, and red accordingly. So I'm looking forward for your close collaboration and respect the time allocated. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jesta, for your description. All the best, all the role players. Dear friends, now let's come to our cheeriest segment, which is prepared speeches, which especially prepared speeches added by Toastmasters, just to allow us to appreciate top high-level public speaking. Prepared speeches form part of Toastmasters Pathways program and help members progress in their selected pathway. A pathway is like a syllabus, which we choose based on our aptitude. And tonight we have four speakers and 4 speeches. Normally we should have started with a icebreaker from Toastmaster Ravin, but for some personal reason he asked to put him at the end because he has some commitment. So what will happen? We will start with speech number 2, who will be our Toastmaster Sharif. So TTM Sharif is a Sharif person, where the meaning of Sharif in Hindi or in Urdu means honest and noble. He is a professional statistician, and by virtue of his name and profession, he is committed to give honest figures to the population. DTM Sharif is always noble in giving genuine and honest evaluation and encouragement to members who get him. Tonight, he is speaking silently about gold, and he will be evaluated by an external high-profile evaluator, Toastmaster Raj Trilochan, who is from another club, Flyers Toastmasters Club. So now I will call upon Toastmasters Trilochan to please read the objectives of TM Sharif's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Trilochan.
Thank you very much. The purpose of Sharif's speech is for him to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. And he must have had spent some time writing this speech to present tonight, and he can do so in any manner he wishes, whether it be humorous, informational, or any style he seems fit. Sharif is a very cheery person, so I'm sure he'll do well. So I'll pass over the floor to you now. Over to you, Sharif. Just before we go though, sorry, let me just remind you of the time. It's 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
For the sake of the counter.
So Toastmaster Sharif, sorry, thank you, Toastmaster.
You're welcome.
Trilochan. So Toastmaster Sharif, now it's time for you to deliver your speech. Toastmaster Sharif, silence the golden state. Silence the golden state. Toastmaster Sharif, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters is where leaders are made. One of the primary objectives of Toastmasters is to learn and improve our listening skills. And one of the key techniques of communication is to use the power of pauses, the power of silence. This is what we practice at each and every Toastmasters session. The key is that as leaders, we have to listen. And as communicator, we need to be silent. Fellow Toastmasters, have you ever realized that these two words are highly correlated? Listen and silent. Both are spelled with different but same letters. Rumi, one of the great philosophers and renowned Sufi, said, listen to silence. It has so much to say. Friends, tonight I'll share with you a story of a king and a saint that made me realize that indeed silence is gold. This is a story of a great king who had all the luxuries and one that we couldn't even realize of having. He had so much wealth that he could buy whatever he wanted, except one thing, and that was peace. Peace is what was lacking in his life, and this made him very sad. Upon the advice of his ministers, the king went to meet a saint far into the forest in the quest of peace. The king found the saint in a remote and lonely place in the forest. He said, "O respected saint, I'm the king of the region, and I'm here to seek your help and guidance. What do you want from me?" "Okay," replied the saint. "O respected saint, I have all the worldly materialistic stuff, but not peace. Please help me. Will you follow my teachings?" "Okay," said the saint. "Yes, I will," replied the king. "Then listen to me carefully. Today I'm going to give you one of the most precious lessons. Are you ready? As from today, do obey the law of complete silence. Do not talk to anyone, even to your dear ones. Then come back to me after 40 days. This is the first lesson if you want to attain the state of peace." The king was totally confused. How will a king stop talking? How will he rule his kingdom? And the king observed silence, complete silence, day after day, till 40 days passed over. On the next day, the king went back to the saint as agreed between them. And the king observed complete silence over there also. "I'm back, O respected holy man." The saint smiled and said, "Sit down, O king. And now look at the trees in front of you. Do you see two birds on the trees?" "Yes," replied the king. "One of the bird is singing melodiously, and the other one is looking around. Just observe them." And the saint closed his eyes as if he went into a state of meditation. The king was still confused, but had no choice and was observing the birds on the trees. Just after a while, a hunter came. He was looking here and there to find a prey. The king was still observing. The hunter was there with a gun, ready to shoot. The birds were still there, one singing and the other one looking around. Hearing the chirps of the bird, the hunter raised his head and smiled. Within seconds, he shot the bird with a melodious sound, and the second one flew in the air. "Are you still confused, O king?" said the saint. The king was surprised. He came to learn one of the greatest lessons of his life. He came to know the meaning and power of silence. Silence, the golden word that can save your life. Ladies and gentlemen, what did we learn from this story? And as a Toastmaster, what is the moral and lesson that we can take from this story? Friends, it is said, silence is golden. Use the power of silence in your speeches. Is not this that we are told at times during evaluations? We are said, use the power of pauses, use the power of silence. And my call to you is, as a Toastmaster, as a leader, as a speaker, use the power of silence and pauses. This is add value to your speeches, and you'll do great. Gibran, one of the great philosophers, says, silence utters what words cannot utter. And back to what Rumi said, listen to silence. It has so much to say. Friends, silence is indeed the golden stage. Silence. Over to you.
you, Toastmaster Sharif. Indeed, silence is golden. That's why in the legal field, we have the rights to silence. We don't say anything, we are protected. If we say something wrong, we have issues. So that's why we have to be silent when we don't want to have issues. Thank you very much. Can we get 1 minute to all Toastmasters to give the private comments to Toastmaster Sharif, please? Timer. Timer, it's okay. 1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute. Everybody can give the private comment to Toastmaster Sharif. Timer, not yet finished? 1 minute?
It's done.
Okay, thank you. Now, dear friends, let's go to the next speech. Next speech by Toastmaster Israt. Am I right? Yeah, Israt. Toastmaster Israt is a superwoman, super bomb in real life, and is always busy with all sorts of personal or collaborated works. But she never misses to revert to you whenever you seek her help. She's a prodigious grammarian who definitely gives you pieces of advice for your development and never miss an opportunity to make you happy. Her surname Benden is closely related to presidential position. In the recent past, there was one Benden at the Régie, and now, very soon, Israel Benden will take the presidential role again at the Régie. But
It appears that it has been censored.
Mr. President, can you take over?
Yes, hi. I think he's frozen somewhere in Réduit.
Yeah, yeah, please take over.
Yeah, okay. So I'll invite his Ishrat's evaluator to please state the objectives of speech, please.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear TME. I will be Ishrat's evaluator tonight. Ishrat is embarking on the pathway motivational strategies with the level 3 project 1, the title being the paper crane. The purpose of her speech is to share some aspects of her experience journaling emotions and being aware of emotions when interacting with others. So the emotions could be cheery or it could be anything else. Let us all discover this. Over to you, Mr. TME.
thank you, Toastmaster Sumaya. Now, Toastmaster Israt. Toastmaster Israt, the paper crane. The paper crane, Toastmaster Israt, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. TME. I'm just pinning the timer. Okay. So what's an upper crane, I hear you ask? What has the bird, what's more, made out of this really modest resource, a piece of paper, got to do with emotional intelligence? Fellow Toastmasters and friends, this is the story of a little girl named Sanya. Sanya was only 5 years old when she fell off the top bunk of the bed she shares with her twin sister. It all happened in a heartbeat, but that accident changed her life, changed our lives. She was diagnosed with a distal femoral fracture. Well, let's just say she had a broken bone and required surgery whereby a plate and screws were inserted in her leg. All was well until when roughly 8 months down the line, my husband noticed that her leg was growing in a funny way, slightly crooked. Our GP confirmed there was a deformity, but no one could lay his finger on what was causing it. The orthopedic surgeon who initially operated on her later told me, "Oh, I am so sorry. I know what caused it. I must have damaged her growth plate whilst operating on her. It is my fault. What a shame. She was such a lovely patient. She never cried and never complained." I don't know what went through my mind at that moment. I was just so unusually calm, and being me, I was focused on finding solutions. A year had gone by. The deformity was more prominent, and Sanya was slowly closing up in her little bubble. Then just before she turned 7, I caught her silently sobbing on New Year's Eve. She was unstoppable, and my heart went out to her. She finally opened up and said in a broken and subtlest voice ever, "I don't have any friends." "Oh, come on, baby," I jumped in. "You know Nan and Mama are always here for you. We love you, and we are your best friends." She then uttered one of the deepest things for a 7-year-old. "Mama, I know the difference between friends and family, and you are family." On another one of those never-ending and agonizing visits to orthopedic surgeons, I was told that Sanya could have been spared had doctors not forgotten the basics of orthopedics. This phrase still resonates within me. The overwhelming sadness I had been unconsciously bottling up for months on end transformed into a raving anger. That evening, I acted out badly on my husband and kids for no particular reason. I could not take it any longer and let my emotions get the better of me. It was the last straw that broke the camel's back. I stormed out of the house and drove away like mad, blinded by my tears and screaming out the excruciating pain that had been eating me up. Why her? Why my daughter? What had she done wrong? Earlier this year, Sanya was assigned a task as part of her unit of inquiry on art forms at school. After much thought, she chose to work on origami, which is the Japanese ancient art of paper folding. She found out that not only the paper crane is considered to be the most popular of all Japanese origamis, but that folding 1,000 cranes gives you a chance to make one special wish come true. She read about another little girl. Sadako Sasaki was a Japanese girl who was the victim of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima when she was only aged 2. She ended up suffering from leukemia and is remembered through the story of the 1,000 origami cranes. She began folding 1,000 paper cranes in the hope they would heal her, but as she got weaker and weaker, her heart's desire changed, and she wished for world peace and healing instead. She was buried at the tender age of 12 with the wreath of 1,000 cranes her classmates helped her finish. Sanya went about folding lots of orizurus, the Japanese term for paper cranes. During her show and tell at school, she shared the misgivings about her accident, the challenges she faced, her upcoming surgery, and the hope that the paper cranes would help somehow in her healing. She went on to deliver her speech at her dad's office and taught all the 100 persons present that day to fold paper cranes. They were later offered to one of their colleagues who is suffering from cancer. That one small action created ripples. Sanya is strong, resilient. She takes it all in her stride, the pain, the tears, the sadness, the fear, the joy. But above all, she is the most compassionate, caring, and loving little girl I know of. She has learned to embrace and harness the real meaning of empathy through her own adversity. Like Sadako Sasaki, Sanya's story has not only impacted me, but her classmates, her teachers, friends and family, strangers. Despite the roller coaster ride of emotions we have had to endure over the years, we have emerged stronger and kinder, more appreciative of people and less judgmental, more cheery despite our trials and tribulations. So my message to you is, let the paper crane, symbol of peace, love, hope, and healing during these challenging times, remind you that you are not alone. When everyone holds the same intention, we all stand for something greater. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmasters. I think your speech, a nice speech, nicely delivered. I know that your title and your body requires members to have artificial intelligence to understand emotional intelligence. All right, thank you. Now, can we give 1 minute to all the audience to give their feedback to Ishrat, Toastmaster Ishrat? 1 minute, please. Time
is over.
Okay, thank you very much, Timer. Now let's go to the third speech by our Toastmaster Azra. Toastmaster Azra, her name may be short by having only 4 letters. Four letters only, but her experience as a speaker is from 4 corners of the world. She's a national speaker for international speeches at international level because she recently delivered a speech in an international district contest. She works at the Ministry of Finance, and we are told that the recent national budget is her doing. She has a lot of good qualities, and she likes to get involved in a lot of club responsibilities. Another good thing is that she supports Manchester United from Manchester City. She always remembers to have been at Old Trafford, where she walked on the pitch, and the security guard told her, "You will never walk alone on this pitch." Tonight, she will explain why her dad does not know all her secrets, because she will talk about speech titled "Why MEMS Knows Best." But before that, Let us listen to her evaluator, Toastmaster Narvada Viramtu, about the objectives of Toastmasters Azra. So over to you, Toastmaster Narvada, to read the objective of the speech of Azra. Over to you.
Good evening, TME, fellow Toastmasters. I will be evaluating Azra's speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to determine the style of humor and apply it to a speech that centers around a central message. So I wish Azra good luck in her speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mira Narvada. So Toastmaster Azra, why MEMS knows best? Why MEMS knows best? Toastmaster Azra, over to you.
Mom, what is it like to have the greatest daughter in the world? I don't know, honey. You have to ask Grandma. Mr. TME, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests, life does not come with a manual. Life comes with a mother. It starts with a mother, and my mama is one of its kind. Raise your hands and let me see how many of you present here today, your favorite time was Friday afternoon. Yes, because the next day is Saturday. No school, nothing, time for enjoyment. But for me, it was not Friday afternoon. It was Thursday night, 8 p.m. Why? This is because I'm a fan of Bollywood movies, Shah Rukh Khan. And at that time, the MBC, the Mauritius Broadcasting Corporation, would broadcast Bollywood movies. And I would wait from Monday when Thursday will come so that I may sit in front of the TV and watch Shah Rukh Khan. But then there was the devil mother who would not allow me for that. Even though I was known to be the naughtiest of the 3 daughters at home, that day I was the most obedient kid, as good as gold. Eat all what was cooked, even if I didn't like it. Could wrap up my homework and was there sitting at 8 p.m. in front of the TV. Within less than an hour, there she comes. Get up, go to bed. This is no time for TV. You need to sleep. Tomorrow is school time. You can't watch TV at this time. And everything was dark. The TV was off, the light was off, and the remote control was gone. And I was there, sitting with big, big tears. 5 minutes, Mom, 5 minutes, Mom. And that was the repeat every Thursday, but she never gave in. Today, I realized that her action developed a culture of discipline in me. And this discipline is what I am today. What I've achieved is all because of this discipline, and I cannot forget this. And then moving on from kid to teenager, you must all have had that moment in your life, a crush. How did you feel? Crazy? Out of world? As blind as a bat? I was in a similar situation. Crazy, deeply, genuinely in love with Mr. Perfect. Perfect for me only. But for my mother, it was no perfect. But then as a kid, as a teenager at that time, do you think words from her would make me see sense? No. Mothers They know best. She came with a mind-boggling strategy. She invited my crush at that time for a coffee in a coffee shop. And all of a sudden, I could feel the table would have turned upside down. How on earth can you share coffee with salt in it? Are you mad, you damn waiter? And the list was on with the words. I was shocked. My crush, he was no longer Shah Rukh Khan in his romantic movies. I saw another face of him. I was not happy at all, but that was the last time I saw him as well. My mother told me later on that it was not the waiter, it was her who was the culprit. She was the one who dropped salt in the coffee to make me realize how angry he can be, how he cannot control his anger. And that was only one aspect, fellow Toastmasters. But when I think about it, I'm really proud of my mother's instinct. I have a question present here. Do you guys have 6 or even 7 cents? I still cannot understand it, unfortunately, till now. But that day, I also asked her to promise me, Mom, you promise me you are not going to drop salt in my drinks, please. Fellow Toastmasters, Mom, if you turn the words down, it comes to wow. Moms, they know best. Even God knows about it. He could not be everywhere, so he created mothers. Mothers protective as Mama Bear, all-rounder role plays, and most importantly, selfless love. That's why mothers knows best. This is for me. How about you? How is your mother to you? Over to you. Thank you.
Subhiraj, we can't hear you.
Yeah. So can you hear me now? So thank you, Toastmaster Azra, for your speech. You talk about mother. I think whatever you said about mother applies also for father and for the parents. And in my opinion, and since you talk about school, TV, and everything, I wanted to just do some not joke. To say, before we have this curfew, as parents, we told children, don't watch TV, don't look at your mobile. And then during curfew, it is a reverse. Go and watch your TV because there is an educational program. Go and watch your mobile because there is an educational program. So things has changed depending on where we are. So thank you very much. Very good. Can you give 1 minute timer for people, for audience to give their feedback? Yeah. Let me know once we finish one.
Time is over.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ista. Now, the next speaker is Ravin Papia, who is already an excellent leader and speaker. He's famous by name and by leadership and the leadership coaching he gives on Facebook and social media.
He's also a great singer. He interpreted the Bollywood song Kya Hua Tera Wara during curfew. Despite all these awards and popularity, he has to abide by pathway rules. Of starting a new pathway via a icebreaker speech. An icebreaker speech normally is meant to introduce a new member to his or her club audience. But tonight, there's a very, not strange, a very special situation, which maybe I am the only one as Toastmaster to benefit. Normally, when we introduce a speaker, we say the name of the speaker, then the title, then the title again, and then the speech, the speaker. But tonight, the speech title says that I have to announce like this. I will do it like afterward. First of all, let his evaluator, Toastmaster DTM Faisal, read the objective of his speech. Yeah, Toastmaster.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good. Toastmaster Faisal.
We have a fifth speaker who is a singer, youngest speaker ever in Plateau Toastmasters Club. Ravin, you're speaking from the path of leadership development. The objective is to introduce yourself to the club and to learn the basic structure of a public speech. Dear fellow Toastmasters, we'll assume Ravin is new to Toastmasters so that we can appreciate his speech in the right context. Over to you, Mr. TME.
Thank you, Toastmaster DTM Faisal. So now let me tell you what I wanted to tell. So in this situation, I will have to say, Ravin Papia. Who is Ravin Papia? Because the title is Who is Ravin Papia? So I will say, Ravin Papia. Who is Ravin Papia? Who is Ravin Papia? Ravin Papia. Over to you, Ravin Papia.
Speech length is 4 to 6 minutes. Timing 4 to 6 minutes.
Ravin Papia, are you there?
Public speaker, trainer, network marketeer, politician, singer. Well, friends, as you heard it from our TME, this is a way that I'm introduced normally. But did you know that I was a very shy guy called an ultra timid? When I was born, the doctor told my mom that unfortunately, your baby does not have a long lifespan. They told my mother that maybe I may live up to 10 years of age. Unfortunately for me, my mother didn't believe the doctors, or maybe she didn't want to hear that as the truth. So my mother took every precaution possible to make sure that I was given all the help to make me become solid enough that I can live. Actually, how you can see me is another 40 years of bonus life. So since I was a sick child, I stayed a lot of time in the hospital. When I was schooled, when I joined the primary school, every 2 or 3 days, I will just fell unconscious during the assembly. And my friends would be shouting, "Sir, the boy just fell down again." And because I was a weak child, you may imagine, I was bullied in school. I was given all sorts of names that I won't be taking here, but you can imagine, just like the fish tilapia, or a gopia, or things like that. I was given all kind of names, and I was bullied because I was bullied and I was a weak child, I became an introvert. I would not speak out. I would not have any friends, and my friends, so-called friends, would not be coming to me. I couldn't play. During the recreation time, a teacher would be looking after me and I had to stay in the classroom. So this really made of me a very shy guy, a very timid guy, someone who would not go, forward and speak to other people. When people were coming to my house, I was going to hide in the room or sometimes under the bed. I know that it seems like a story from a film, but that's my real story because this is what happened to me. Then when I was at school and I couldn't go out playing with my friends and my teacher had to look after me, so she was kind of bored. I mean, like all the other teachers were in the, in the teacher's room and they were playing caroms, cards, things like that. And my poor teacher had to come and sit in the class for 30, 45 minutes and look after me. So I think one day she got bored of that and she just called me and said, Robin, come here, take your chair and come here. So I took my chair very timidly and I put in my chair quite, a bit a distance from her. And she said, no, close, come close to me. I said, okay. So I just went closer to her and she opened her bag and took out a book and asked me, do you know how to read? And I was like confused and, like I was so timid. I didn't even, utter the word. And I looked at her and she said, I'm going to introduce you to reading. And that's a day when I went into a new universe of adventure. I was 6 years of age at that time. And my teacher introduced me to reading. And after a couple of months, I was starting to read like, I don't know what, 3-4 books per week. And books changed completely my world. When I was reading those books, the Club of Five, the Club of Seven, I was a hero in those books. I was like the one, always being at the forefront, the hero of all my stories. And in those books, being the hero, and I know the hero is the one who leads from the front, is the one who speaks, who give orders, who is like, marching and giving marching orders and getting everyone to move. So I think that there came into my mind a desire to become someone who could speak. And then one more thing that happened is I love to watch films. And in those films, I love to watch courtroom scenes. Watching these people, the lawyers speaking out. And then this is what was inbuilt. And somewhere, somehow, in 2009, I saw me in Toastmasters. And from Toastmasters, 2009, 2020, I see myself now again embarked on a new pathway journey. So friends, if you are settling for less, let me tell you, what if what looks like a curse in your life is your life's biggest blessing? Over to you. Over to you, TME.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Ravin. I think your doctor did not say 10 years, say 10 decades. Maybe your mother have not heard properly. And I think you are also a good actor. It's very difficult to believe that you were introvert, you were shy during your childhood. The way you behave, you act these days, you are an actor also. Thank you very much. Now 1 minute to audience to give feedback, please.
Time is over.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jessica. Now, dear friends, I think we finish with prepared speeches. We go to the next segment, which is called table topic. And now it's time for me to hand over to our table topic master, who is none other than Toastmaster Shivani Bhatia. Shivani Bhatia, over to you. Shivani. Shivani. Shivani there?
I think no,
Shivani.
she's not here.
She's present
here?
on the screen, I think. Yeah, on the screen, yeah. Shivani.
She must have had connection problem, I would think.
I am also having problem today, and exceptionally today I'm having issues. I used to comment on others, now today I think it's karma. When I am TME, I'm having issues. So this is what you could say karma.
She's there, I think.
Yeah. Toastmaster Shivani, it's your turn now. So in the meantime, Shivani. Shivani.
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, it's your turn now. Over to you for your table topic session.
Thank you, Mr. TME. Pleasure to be a table topic master. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and cheery guests. No doubt you all must be waiting for this session eagerly. So for the benefit of our guests, this is the most exciting segment of the evening. It tests impromptu skills and ability to think on your feet. Basically, this is a speech without prior preparation. So let's get started and screw up your courage. So in this, we will look for a victim. We look for people who doesn't have any role. So here I go and shoot my first question. How much do you worry about what others think? How much do you worry about what others think? Vaishali. Are you there, Vaishali?
Vaishali was there. Vaishali. Can't see her. Vaishali, where is Vaishali?
Vaishali is not there, I think.
She's not there.
She was there earlier. She was there earlier.
Earlier she was there, but not now.
Okay.
Okay, then choose someone else. Choose someone else in this case.
Okay.
Divya is back. Divya is there. Divya.
Hi,
I'm here.
Okay. Can we wait for this question, or maybe I change the question? Can I ask some another question?
Okay.
The grass always looks greener on social media. The grass always looks greener on social media. Uma.
I am with a role. Can I remind you that?
Okay, so sorry.
We do have people around who don't have roles. Go ahead with them.
I thought of asking some questions to our guests, so I thought first give, to our members,
Divya.
then we'll go on to our guests later on. Okay, can we have...
Hi,
Yeah,
I can
okay, please go for it.
Yes, can you repeat the questions, please?
Yes. The grass always looks greener on social media. What do you say? What do you think about this? The grass always looks greener on social media.
Yes and no, both. Why? Yes, because like we're saying that social media, I have my virtual background, I can be everywhere. We have like the sea, the moon, everywhere, instead of coming to face-to-face meeting with at the Bhavan. So to be frank, it's yes or no. No is it's about creating an illusion of us being always, I must say, giving people creating the illusion that everything is great, good, but in fact that's not correct. Also, no, why? Because we are trying to fake whatever is there, it's not there. So for me, it's both a yes and a no. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Divya. Okay. So I throw my next question. If you could time travel, where would you go? If you could time travel, where would you go? Paulina. Please unmute yourself, Paulina. We can't hear you.
Yes. So again, let me answer. It will be Mauritius, definitely. And not because I am here, but because I have a good friend in Mauritius, and it will be really my first travel and my dream destination to your country.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so my next question is, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Nick, are you there?
What a great question. Madam Table Topic Master, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Well, that's the point, isn't it? If you're going to love somebody, you better not judge them, because they won't love you back at all, will they? Let me give you a situation. If you have a pet, for example, and I lived in a house once when I was a student with 4 cats. And what happened was that I had my favorite, who was Sooty, but we also had other cats as well. We had Sweep, we had Chip, and we had Dale. And I loved them all, but Sooty was my kind of favorite, right? And with a pet, I think that my experience was love was unconditional. The cats didn't judge me, or did they? There was one night, I was busy, I was doing my finals, I was stressed, and what did I do? I committed the cardinal sin. I picked up Sooty out of my room and put him outside and closed the door. I needed to get some rest, I needed peace, I needed quiet, I needed to be on my own. Cats, perhaps they might be judging. Sooty put on the gown, put on the wig like a judge, and judged me. And yes, the next day, after I gave my exam, I came home, opened my room, and there was Sooty sitting on the carpet, looking and smiling at me. And why was he smiling at me? Do you know? I think one or two of you may know. Sooty gave me my punishment. Sooty made sure that I never threw him out of my room again, Suti left me a present on the nice, clean carpet. It was a number, not number 1, but number 2. You know what I mean. Suti deposited the present on the carpet for me to pick up and clean after him. I never threw Suti out again. I loved him so much. Back to you, Madam Topic Master.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So, can I go with one more question?
Timer, you have time, timer? Just start.
Okay. Never trust the
I'm asking this. Proceed. Carry on.
Can you hear me? Okay. Never trust the tongue when your heart is bitter or angry. Never trust the tongue when your heart is bitter or angry. What do you think about it? When Venisha is there, yes, Venisha.
Good evening, fellow.
Venisha.
I'm back with you after a long time. So yeah, I'll go for it. Well, I'm thinking about what to say about this because I've witnessed so many things in my life. Not that I'm that old, but yes, when two people are fighting, and I've witnessed this, and when one is shouting, and the person has a tendency of saying things in reality they don't really mean. So they may say things that are bitter, that are words that hurt, but the other person, the other party shouldn't take it as personally, should understand why the person is saying this and what is his motivation, and not take his words at heart. Try to understand his situation, his or her situation, and not shout back. Let the person be calm down, and then try to sort it out. So you shouldn't trust those, not trust, but shouldn't take those words at heart when the person is shouting at you. So that's my personal opinion. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Over to you, Subhiraj, Mr. TME. Thank you, everyone, for your answers. Thanks for taking. Subhiraj, are you there? Or should I shoot one more question?
Subhiraj is frozen and gone. I'll
So
take over.
can I throw one more question?
I don't know, Tama, do we have time?
Yes, please.
Timer, do we still have time?
Timer, you are
Yes, we
muted.
can.
We are late, so we'll switch over now to the next.
Yeah.
Okay, he is there.
Yes, sorry. Unfortunately, I'm having this internet connection. I'm missing a lot of conversation. Sorry for that. So, are we done with the table topic, Shivani?
Yes, we are done with that.
Are we done?
Yes, we are done. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So let's go to the next segment now. It's called evaluation. In fact, in Toastmasters, those who don't know, in Toastmasters, we don't just speak. We speak, and then we get comments from evaluators so that we can progress in our journey. So this is done through evaluators who will give you recommendation. And for tonight, we have four evaluators, those who spoke earlier. So let's start in the same order that the speakers spoke, delivered the speech. Let's start with Raj, I think. Well, Raj was first. So Raj, can you?
All right, TME. You need to hand over to the D.
Yes.
You need to hand over to the general evaluator.
Yeah, okay, sorry. So I hand over to the general evaluator, Uma, to proceed
TME.
with the evaluation.
I think these are issues of low bandwidth.
I have some
Let's
issues
move
now.
on to our
Sorry.
evaluation session. Good evening, Toastmasters. Let's now hear the feedback. As it's always said, feedback is the breakfast of champions. So let's create champions, and for that, let's listen to the evaluators. Tonight, the first evaluator would be Toastmaster Raj Trilochan, who would be evaluating Toastmaster Sharif's speech. Can I hand over to Toastmaster Raj?
Sure, indeed. Thank you. Sharif, Silence the Golden State. I really enjoyed the little story and the message. What I want to do before I start the evaluation is to take over from where the TME Subhiraj. He mentioned the silence is used in a legal arena, which is true. They would actually tell you that you have the right to remain silent, and everything you say and anything you say can be taken against you in the court of law, which is true. And on the side that you've used, the power of silence, the power of pause, the way you started was a great start. And then you dive straight into it. It was well used paused, timed exactly just after the title. Thereafter, you went in with your hand gestures, each time gesturing towards listen to silence, which was great. You've positioned yourself really nicely. You had very good vocal variety. Even if I was looking down and at my pen and paper, I could tell you were being the master in one moment, and then you were being the king at another. So it was really good. You developed that vocal variety for us to hear and differentiate. The only thing I would suggest, Sharif, is for you to make use of your whole body to tell your stories. I know in a sitting position, it's not quite easy to allow your body to speak. Silence is very powerful indeed. But with your body, you can actually make your body speak without you saying anything using your body language. Perhaps a standing position would allow you to do that in the future. You ended very well with the rhetorical questions about the moral story of your pauses, of your silence, which was excellent. And I'm pleased to say that you've met all the requirements of your project, level 1, first speech. Thank you very much. Over back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raj, for that wonderful evaluation. You have given a very clear evaluation of Toastmaster Sharif's speech on silence, very crisp and clear as to the observations. Excellent way of communicating it back to the speaker, motivating him further. Thank you. Let's now move on to the second evaluator, Toastmaster Sumaya, evaluating Toastmaster Ishrat's speech, The Paper Crane. Toastmaster Sumaya.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Ishrat. Ishrat, this, as I've told you, was what I felt a complex project which required a bold step, bearing your emotions in front of an audience. And for me, you did it with such grace and dexterity. I, throughout the speech, felt that I embarked on a roller coaster ride with you, a roller coaster emotional ride. I say roller coaster because of the different stages of emotion that you unraveled throughout your speech. You started with poise, a prop, an origami, and a question, completely justified, because what does a paper crane has to do with emotions? You voiced out our questions, and you proceeded to reply to it. You embarked on a story, a personal story with the high and the lows. When you were relating how Sanya, your child, had met with an accident, but more drastically, there was a mistake from the part of the doctor. At this point, I felt like, oh, this is where I'm going to tell you. You should have been more emotional. You should have shown the anger, and the frustration should have resonated in your voice. But it was as if that you had preempted this again, and you told us that you were calm throughout. When you said this, I felt that this reflected how this was your story. These were your emotions, and these were personal and unique to you. You delivered the speech with the right pace, slowly at first, for the story to sear in our memory. Then when the emotions came pouring out, you rightly did it with a fast pace to really convey the anger, the excruciating pain, the sorrow. And then you got back to being calm when Sanya had found her place to blossom. I also loved the vivid words used throughout the speech, the images. So it was not just pain, it was excruciating pain. It was not that you left the house, you stormed out of the house. You know my love for words, and I felt that you had the very specific, right, appropriate words, and this really brought your speech to another level, another dimension. In short, I won't dwell on the recommendations because I felt that you achieved a milestone. You were bold enough to bear your emotions with us. But for the sake of completion, I would say perhaps add more gestures in your speech to go along with your emotions, and also work on your conclusion so that it does not end abruptly. I felt that I lived vicariously through your speech, and thank you for sharing this with us. Over to you.
Thank you, Sumaya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumaya, for your great evaluation. In fact, when I was listening to Toastmaster Ishrat's speech, I was wondering how Sumaya was going to tackle this, because finding a loophole there was a little difficult. But yes, you did come up with a recommendation, and that's really great because every speech. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Every speaker has somewhere to improve at any time he speaks. That's what I've always felt. And Sumaya, thank you for that observation. Let's move on to the third speaker's evaluator, Toastmaster Narvada, evaluating Toastmaster Azra's speech on, yeah, Mom knows everything. Toastmaster Narvada. Hello.
Azra, congratulations for your speech this evening. You succeeded in centering your speech around a central message, which was about a mother. When you say that life does not come with a manual, life comes with a mother and starts with a mother. What I loved about your speech, Azra, were, first, you fully engage the audience with well-constructed content. You engaged the audience when you ask them to raise their hands, asking them whether their favorite time was Friday afternoon, or even when you ask whether any one of us has 6 or 7 cents. Azra, you also succeeded in making us in a cheery mood when you mentioned that your mom invited your crush in a coffee shop and sharing coffee with salt in it. A few suggestions. of how to improve your speech, more specifically on the humor part. Azra, for a humorous speech, it is usually good to start with a very good joke early in the introduction to give the audience momentum with laughing. Azra, you may consider including a joke in the introduction itself. Second, the speaker also needs to pause for the audience to laugh. You may consider making use of pause of laughter because normally the audience may take half a second to understand the joke. For instance, when you talk about your mom putting salt, you could add some more pauses at that moment. What I also liked about your speech, Azra, was that you kept a smile all along your speech. I would say that you met the objective of centering your speech around the mother, your mother, when you said that even God could not be everywhere, so he created mothers. And the selfless love of mother. Overall, I enjoyed your speech, Azra. To summarize, consider appropriate timing of the jokes and use of more pauses. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Narvada, for that wonderful evaluation. Humorous centric speech requires a little bit more of humor. That was one of the evaluations that I had for Toastmaster Azra, and you came up with the right observation. Thank you, Toastmaster Narvada. Let's move on to our DTM Fazil for evaluation of Toastmaster Ravins. Who is Ravin Papia? DTM Fazil, where are you?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. My dear friend Ravin, your speech was ridiculously stupendous. The Toastmaster and the guests, the objective of Ravin's speech was to introduce himself and to learn the basic structure of his speech. Ravin did just that. We thought we knew who Ravin was. Tonight, we learned who really he is. He was rather a timid boy. Tonight, we saw the reminiscence of his childhood. The TME mentioned that he is a good actor. I would rather say that he is a good performer. Because when you are delivering a speech, it is in fact a performance. We very often tend to forget that. If you have this in perspective, that every speech, even for an evaluation, a table topic, it is a performance. Look from this perspective, you can reach another level. The second objective of his speech was to learn the basic structure of a good speech. Ravin, you showed your mastery of this domain. Starting with a good title. Who is Ravin Papia? What a more appropriate title. The introduction. You're not only an actor, a politician, speaker, but this is who you are. Also, you use the technique of storytelling. People like to listen to stories. We went through your tribulation, and you end up with a powerful conclusion, how to turn a curse into a blessing. Very good conclusion. Now, if I were to give a recommendation to you, Ravin, do this one. You showed your tribulation, but you were posed and strive throughout your speech. I would like you to show that pain in you. How, when you bleed, how you accuse these these bully, how painful it was. I would like to see these expression of pain on your facial in your facial expression. That was the only thing missing in your speech. The pain you have gone through, just express them through your facial expression. Otherwise, Ravin, you are a very poised and suave speaker. You showed that. And also, I would end by saying that what is remarkable with you is your mastery of English language. You speak like a native English speaker. And when you have this asset in you, the whole speech becomes music to the ears. Congratulations, Ravin. I look forward to listen to your future speeches. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Faisal. Dear Toastmasters, when there are two masters at work here, it's really enjoyable to watch and learn. Now, we always think that we know everything about an icebreaker. But today, DTM Faisal taught us an icebreaker is for the speaker to learn the structure of a speech. Simple but a valuable lesson. And yes, when I was listening to Toastmaster Ravin's speech, I even commented back to him saying that I saw your eyes twinkling when you were reliving your pleasant memories. But what I missed and what DTM Faisal came up was the right point, that he should have shown the pain that he went through when he during his childhood years when he was being bullied. The pain also had to come through as his facial expressions. You hit on the right note, DTM Faisal. Thank you for teaching us what an icebreaker should be for a speaker. Toastmasters, we had 4 great speakers today and 4 great evaluators today. Let's give a thundering round of applause to all of them, all 4 plus 4, 8 of them. I love the sound of this and I miss it. When are we going back to the Bhavan? Let's have the other role players come in. There's been a cheery Toastmaster here who is among us after a long time, and she's trying to count the words spoken by us. Doshila Ramlavat, please tell us how we fared today. The grammarian, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. So I must say, as grammarian tonight, I was well served with a plethora of expressions, idioms, and as Sumaya Raki said, she's very fond of learning new words and expressions. So I was also very much pleased to hear all those plethora of words and expressions tonight. So I'll share with you my report, my grammarian report. Give me 1 second with you. Okay, so I've actually structured my report into 4 sections, which are words, interesting words, phrases, expressions, and quotes I've heard. So I'd like to go through the interesting words, expressions that I've heard. All happened in a heartbeat, 8 months down the line, broken and subtless. So I'm used to using the word subtle. So I should confess rather, I was not really aware about the adjective subtless. I didn't know it exists, so that was something that I learned. Agonizing visits. And I've also here on my report, I hope you can see it, the meaning of those words which can be useful to all of you. to enrich your vocabulary. Phrase resonates, which means echoed with me. Sadness bottling up. Raging anger. Mind-boggling strategy. Cardinal sin. Excruciating pain. Stupendous. It was stupendous something I can't recall, which means extremely impressive. Emotions that were unraveled, stormed out of the house. My heart went out to her. Harness empathy for adversity, never settle for less. And there was a quote from Azra, life doesn't come with a manual, it comes with a model. Now the second part was any use of anaphoras, alliteration, metaphor or idiom. So here I heard some interesting idioms, metaphors, and which go as follows. Last straw that broke the camel's back, small action that created ripples, closing up in her bubble, roller coaster of emotions, as blind as a bat, as good as gold, roller coaster of emotions, I think it's repeated twice, sorry for that. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Now, with regard to pronunciation mistakes, I'm happy that I didn't hear lots of pronunciation mistakes, except for maybe the word breakfast. And also here I would like to point out that I've been here as a student when I was at secondary school. I had a major issue in pronunciating these words correctly. I also was pronouncing the as the, that, and so on. So I do understand that it's a habit that we actually develop, but with practice, I've been there, as I said, with practice, it definitely gets better. So I'd just like to mention to some of you who might have this problem of mispronouncing these words. If you could just be aware and practice in pronunciating these words correctly. And incorrect use of grammar, I heard 40 days was over, it should be were over. And here, ridiculously stupendous, it's not really incorrect use of grammar. When I heard Feza use this word ridiculously, I've always associated the word ridiculous to mockery. And here I was a bit like, not sure whether the word stupendous, which is a positive word, could be used together with ridiculously. So then I found out that ridiculously also means causing surprise or disbelief. So there was nothing wrong in using that word here in this context. As far as the word of the day is concerned, so I've heard Shivani use it once, Ishrat used the word cherry once, and Sumaya also used the word cherry once. So thank you to all of you for using the word of the day, and over to you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you.
Wow, what a detailed report from the grammarian. I don't think I have ever seen such a detailed report, and that's a fantastic format. I think you should share it with the XCOM members so that maybe we can adapt for all our sessions. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rashila.
I just hope it was not over detailed.
Learning is what we get out of it, even if it's too much of it. Let us move on to Toastmaster Aditya for our accounts. Tonight's account. I'm sure I'm going to talk.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. It's time to get accounted. Now, with respect to speakers, we have only Toastmaster Raveen, who used like 1 time, and 7 times. And coming to evaluators, we have Toastmaster Raj Trilochan, who used 1 time and once. And Toastmaster Somaya, who used once and also once. And coming to table topic speakers, we have Divya, who used 5 times, 3 times, and so twice. We have Polina, our guest, who use one time and so one time. Coming to Mr. Nick, Toastmaster Nick, he used one time and one time also. And lastly, Toastmaster Vanisha, who used the price once and also one time. So that's it. Other than that, well done speakers, great speeches. Thank you. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya, for that report on our counting for tonight's session. For the guests here, this is just to make us aware of how many distracting words or sounds that we utter during our speeches, just to make us aware so that we can move on to a silent pause, what Sharif had advised us to do, and make our speeches more beautiful and meaningful. Moving on to the timer. Toastmaster Jayashra, please give us the timing for tonight.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Coming to the prepared speeches, Ravin Papia has taken 5 minutes 43 seconds. Sharif has taken 7 minutes. Ishrat was slightly over time and has taken 7 minutes 40 seconds. Azra has taken 6 minutes 22 seconds. So only Ravin, Sharif, and Azra are eligible for voting. Coming to the table topic section, there was an issue with my internet and I could time only Vanisha, who has taken 1 minute 37 seconds. And finally, for the evaluations, Faisal was slightly over time and has taken 3 minutes 38 seconds. Raj Trilotran has taken 2 minutes 1 second. Sumaya was on the brink and has taken 3 minutes 30 seconds. And Narvada has taken 2 minutes 19 seconds. So only Raj, Sumaya, and Narvada are eligible for voting. Thank you.
Thank you, timer. Moving on to the General Evaluators report. Tonight, when we started off, we had a themeless meeting, and I wondered where we were going with it. But then tonight's turned out to be the perfect session, which had the perfect introductions, and it was like a classroom of how to conduct a Toastmasters session. I think we'll start with an applause for the TME tonight. He made sure that there was a group, a WhatsApp group specific for the role players of tonight. He made sure that if there was a role player who said, I may have to go, he made sure that there was a standby for an evaluator, a speaker, and everything was meticulously done over the days. Yesterday, we had the perfect agenda out much before time. And tonight, if you look at it, we started at 7. All the guests, the president made sure that all the guests were given generous time for self-introduction. The interesting theme of Themeless was introduced by the Toastmaster of the evening in a very interesting manner with interesting reasons. And coming to the role players, the grammarian, R counter, and timer, all three of them, I found it very different because normally we see that one of the role players will explain his role very clearly, the other two will miss it out. Tonight we saw all the 3 role players explaining very clearly their roles and what the aim is. It's a very good thing, especially since we have guests who are first timers to a Toastmasters session. All speakers were introduced very well. My only complaint is that, maybe you could have introduced the evaluators also a little bit more. They lacked a bit of introduction there. Yeah, we know all of them, but still, it's nice. You know, it motivates the evaluator when he comes on screen. See, I have gotten used to the online sessions now. I say on screen now. When are we going back? This is not good at all. As I said earlier, we had excellent speakers tonight, and all 4 evaluators rose to the speaker's level. They were also excellent in their evaluations. Now, Table Topic Master came up with another excellent introduction to what a table topics session is about. That's what I said. Tonight's session was a class for how to conduct a Toastmasters session. For first-timers, keeping first-timers in mind, everyone rose to the occasion. Topics were simple and interesting. My only suggestion is that the table topic master could have explained the timing in the beginning. That was the only thing lacking in that. All the other role players came up with their perfect reports. So I really don't have anything to complain, or I don't think we need to improve any grade further. So I know that that's grammatically wrong. Ishrat, we'll have a talk after this. So let's a conversation set for tonight with this positive note of having a perfect session. Thank you, TME. A round of applause for the TME, and let me hand it over back to Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Subhiraj Gajadur.
Thank you, General Uma. Thank you very much. I think that now it's time for vote. I would ask Krishan. Krishan, can you hear me? To launch the poll. And people, members, please vote. Don't vote for me. In the meantime, Ravin, can you sing a few words, lines of your song, your favorite song, Kya Hua? Ravin?
You're not looking for me to sing like now, are you?
Yeah, can you sing a few lines in the meantime that the poll is being happened?
Okay.
Hold on. He needs the music. Can someone share the music for him? He needs the music. I need to look for it.
That's true. You want me to sing? All right.
We're not joking at Toastmasters here. We don't joke here. We're just telling seriously.
Okay, I'll sing you a line. Okay, I'll sing you this introduction. Yeah. If you really. Okay. I know music, but I'll just sing the
I realize that the after party. I realize that the after party is starting within the party, the meeting itself.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Krishan's after party now goes in full in the session. So okay. Okay. I hope my because I had flu these past days. I hope my voice is good enough. Okay. I'll just sing a few lines. क्या हुआ तेरा वादा वो कसम वो इरादा क्या हुआ तेरा वादा वो कसम वो इरादा भूलेगा दिल जिस दिन तुम्हें वो दिन जिंदगी का आखिरी दिन होगा क्या हुआ तेरा वादा वो कसम वो इरादा. Here you go.
Good, very good. I think you sing so well that Rishi Kapoor said, okay, now I can leave. He left.
Poor guy, I mean, yeah. It's incredible that we're losing so many people from Bollywood, and now we lost a very young actor.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Kishan, can we done? Hold on, please. You can keep singing, Ravi, in the meantime.
Next time. Next time I'll give you the full song, or in the after party, I'll give you the full song. We can have some, unfortunately, Danu is not here. We could have some salty jokes, right? Anyone
Sorry.
here? We didn't hear about,
Ravin, sorry. I need to share one update. I asked co-host only to share your results with me because co-host only cannot vote. Everyone else, it's okay. Only co-host, that means Biankoj, Azra, and Subhiraj. If you're voting, please send your votes to me. The others, I'm just going to ignore your votes. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ravin.
I'll wait for you, Krishan, for give me the final result.
No, we can move on to the business segment if you want.
Okay, let's move to the business segment now. I will hand over to President Biankoj. Over to you, President Biankoj.
Thank you, Subhiraj, and congratulations once again for this Themeless session and for an eventful session with, like the G said, an introductory session and an introductory role playing to all the speakers that have been faring so far. My business session will be quite short and sweet. First is I'd like to answer. I would have liked to answer the question: when are we going back from Toastmaster Uma? But the thing is, the confinement has just been declared, and we are just fresh out of confinement, and it would not be wise for us to go right away to on site. Most probably it will be in the coming months, but we will keep this for the next mandate to decide on when are we going to go on site. So let's keep it online for a while. I think we have got used to online, and we are doing fine, and we will get to know as we go along. This is for the question: when are we going back? The next session is going to be on the 30th of June, and here I'd like to invite you all to attend this session, which is going to be a special session, as it's going to be the installation ceremony of our incoming president and her new team. So I'd like to invite you all to attend, to be present on that day, to give your support to the new team and make sure that you're there and show that they have a strong support behind as well. So please make sure you're present on the 30th of June, same time on the Tuesday as well. My third and last item is we are coming towards the end of our mandate, this current mandate, and here I'd like to thank everyone for your support and towards myself and towards my team for your continued cooperation over this past 12 months. I really appreciate that, and I look forward to you giving your support now to the next team. So that concludes my business session for today and for this mandate. I'll probably give a list of the achievements that we have been doing in our last session, and I'd like to now hand over to the TME to conclude the session. Over to you, Subhiraj.
Thank you, President. Thank you very much. Now, I think it's time to declare the winners. I think the winner, everybody is a winner here tonight. But we have to select some just for formalities. So, as per the poll, the best speaker is Azra, Manchester United. The best evaluator is Somaya Jolim. Somaya Jolim. And the best table topic speaker is Nick. Thank you.
congratulations everybody, and congratulations everybody's we are winners. I think President, is it that's it? We are. Thank you for all your help before the meeting and during the meeting. I think there was some connection problem that we tried to manage. Unfortunately, some connection this problem happened. So again, thank you very much.
Can we get the guest feedback before we close, please?
Yeah, this is also very important. Let's start. Let's start by Purina. Can we start with Purina first? Purina, unmute yourself.
Here. Yes, I'm here. And should I say something? How I should I share my impression about this first meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So, as I told at the beginning, it was completely new for me, and I didn't have any idea how it looks. And I feel really great after this meeting, because a lot of very important tips, what to do, how to speak, how to avoid this, very, very important for me. So I would like to join to meet if it's possible, of course. And really a lot of golden advice for me as for lecturer, but also maybe as for a speaker in the future. I really enjoy, and big lesson for me. Interesting, completely new. So I didn't know what to do. I sent some questions to some of us, completely new, but super. As for me, fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for invitation. Really super time for me.
Yeah. Okay. Create one club, then invite us. We'll come there. No issue. We'll come in your country. So next guest and coach, who can be?
Rajiv Mahadu, can you share your feedback with us?
Rajiv.
In the meantime, can we have Shakti Ramtawal?
Shakti Ramtawal, I think she's there.
Yes. Thanks for having me. This is the second time that I'm participating as a guest. This was a great experience. You know, sometimes I feel speaking to a screen, we don't really get to know the person behind. And with the stories that have been told today, we really got to know the person behind. For instance, Azra, I've learned that you've been involved in the budget preparation. I have one thing to say to you. I have commented the budget in the press. I'm saying this jokingly. Oh dear God. Ravin, I was captivated by your story, because I have been bullied when I was young as well. But the only way you can show and you can come back to the bullies is to show them what you're really made of. Now, one thing before I close off is one thing that has helped me in my professional and personal life. In fact, two things. One is I've learned that if you hang around with monkeys, your life becomes a circus, which is why we are spending our time, and this relates to one of the table topics, that should you care about the opinion of others? The answer is yes, but you should really define who others are. And if the others are those people who mentor you and help you and really push you to achieve your goal, then you have no problem. But have you ever wondered and seen the comments on Facebook by people who are always there to comment? You know, it's always the economy, it's always the government. So for these people, it's never a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. So it was a great session for me today. I hope to come back soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Maybe we can hear from our speechcraft coordinator, Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Apologies for turning up a little bit late, but I really enjoyed this meeting. I obviously know some of you already very well. I felt at home immediately. I really enjoyed the The speeches, the standard of speeches and evaluations I thought was very good and easy on the ear. And also I felt that there's an energy and a warmth in the room. And I'm so intimidated by a wonderful singer, Ravin. But I really enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to the after party. So I have the drinks here and we're ready to go. Thank you, Mr. President.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we have Rajiv who is back. Rajiv, can you share your feedback on the session tonight? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I had an urgent call. Well, today's my first session with you. It was a very interesting session. I came to know about the process, how the Toastmasters platform functions. Well, about the guest speakers today, I like very much Azra's speech, where she discussed about her mom. And while listening to her, I'm thinking same thing about my mom. And very good evaluation done, very technical, very detailed. I'm getting to learn about how the whole thing works. But I can say that it's a very interesting session. 2 hours, not bad, from 7 to 9 nearly. I look forward for the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. And last but not least, can we have Raj? Raj, are you there?
Raj, yeah.
Hello again. There's 2 things I'd like to share with you, 2 idioms, in fact. First is time flies when you have fun. And we've been online now for 2 hours and 15 minutes, 35 seconds, 36 seconds, and counting. So it is indeed, it's fun. And the second is birds of the same feathers flock together. And obviously we are all of the same type, trying to eagerly learn and cheerfully learn something new to invest in ourselves for our personal growth. And of course, for whatever reason people are here to be speakers or whatnot. And I'm quite happy to see that we are on the same journey. There's always a club we can turn to and learn from each other rather than going somewhere and not knowing what we're doing. And it's fantastic that all the parts and all the worlds, through Zoom, we can actually be anywhere you'd want at the click of a button. And it's not the same as taking a plane and going there, seeing each other and coming back, having fun memories also. But Zoom has really made us come closer. And I believe this little endeavor that I've had here is nice, very different compared to the other clubs that I've visited. But nevertheless, we're on the same path. You know, they say all the roads lead to Rome, and this is one of them. So thank you very much, and I hope all of you the best in your endeavors through your pathways and whatnot. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you so much, everyone. I'd like to all of you to please give a big round of applause to yourself. It's been a wonderful session. Thank you to Subhiraj for TMing this session. And on this note, I'll stop the recording now and declare this session closed. Thank you so much for tonight. And as you know, Christian is the after party host. He's taking over us from now on.